Hey, look who's back. It's Rich Thaw, Jesse Masai, talking, of course, about making the gym experience fun again. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And Rich, I think this is, we always talk about loss of motivation and you're not inspired. And is it really part of the fun factor? Is that one of the biggest reasons why people are like, you know what, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. This is monotonous.
It is huge. As you obviously know, we both come from a similar background where we used to play sports, and then we kind of transitioned to like a career, a job, a life, a family, responsibilities, so that sports kind of take a backseat. And what I see a lot of the time, it's especially happened to myself, and I know Jess had this also.
Yeah.
So it's really not that uncommon that we transition to this life, and then all of a sudden we get confused with what to do with the gym and our responsibilities. All of a sudden there's no time, and then that's where kind of like the spare tire syndrome creeps up on us. We start neglecting the gym because who likes doing the same stuff every single time? Nobody loves that.
And you've been, you've been really honest. I mean, I follow you on social media. You've been sharing like your personal story of some of your struggles, and people look at a guy like you and go, "Well, Rich has it all. He's got it all together." You're just like everybody else.
I'm just a normal dude. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I went through the spare tire syndrome effect, and then I went through the not wanting to train for like months at a time, and I didn't. I just played hockey, went mountain biking, or I just didn't even do some of that. And then I realized that like my shoulder started to hurt, my back started to hurt, and all these injuries started to occur again. And I was like, you know what? What if I just have fun with training? What if I change my thought process or create this new identity around somebody who shows up to training and somebody who's consistent? Instead of somebody who like needs to work out to feel good about himself.
Well, and you mentioned that soreness. And Jess, I mean, in physiotherapy, is it the same thing too? Some people are like, you know what, I don't want to go back to physio because it's just going to make me do the same thing over and over again. And I'm not having fun doing that either.
Well, if we're doing the same thing over and over again, probably means we're injuring the same things over and over again. And I can attest to what Rich is saying. Back in the high school days, homework got done sometimes, exams were usually passed, but the one thing that I knew I made sure was that I had my protein shake at the exact same time every day. I knew that when it was a hockey practice, I was ready for my practice because I had a team, I had coaches that depended on me.
Right.
Years later, we shift to this professional lifestyle. The team now becomes our work colleagues, our families, ourselves.
Right.
And it's the people who come into the clinic knowing that they've got a team that they're fighting for that often see the most change and they're devoted to the most change.
And that holds true with you, Rich. You've got a team around you, and it helps in motive. I told you this week I worked out with my daughter, 13 years old, and she got me to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in a while.
That is the ultimate reason, is to be that superhuman, be that Superman for your kids.
Yeah,
right? And have that accountability system, which is like your daughter to give you a swift kick in the butt sometimes. Like let's go, Derek. Let's get your stuff together.
I needed it. You're going to show us some cool. You brought some really neat equipment along with you here today.
Yes.
What is this?
This is called a Pentagon bar. So this awesome company sent me this to be able to show you how amazing, how fun training can be with very similar tools. So what we're doing right here is a deadlift.
Right.
So we're using this, and this is a lot safer variation than just a trap bar or a barbell because of the easier pattern that we're in, and it reinforces the movement right here.
Right.
So we're just doing a simple deadlift. What we can also do is a reverse lunge.
Okay.
So very simple, just like that. So the simple cues here for those of you at home who are looking to do this, is what we're looking for is when we step back, that the hip, the knee, and the shoulder are pretty much in line.
Right.
As you can see. And then he's pushing through that front heel to stand up and forward.
And this is a piece of equipment you can use at home? Is this something that
absolutely, yeah. So if you have a barbell at home, you can absolutely use this. I know most gyms would probably want to get a hold of this. So what I could suggest is either get in contact with me and I'll connect you guys, or you can reach out to the company directly. But this is something that definitely most gyms should have because it's so easy for people who are introducing to training. Right. Although it does seem intimidating, this is the most easily used equipment.
That's really cool. Now, he's obviously brought it up a notch here, right? He's got some variations here.
So I love movement. Just movement, pure and simple. So we're talking about full range of motion. We're getting that hip flexion, so we're training these patterns. We're getting the shoulder flexion. So I like this also because a lot of people have problems going directly overhead. And by pressing on an angle, it's a little bit easier on the shoulders, a little bit easier on the joints right here. So you can get the power and the athleticism and having fun, getting rid of those injuries while actually training.
And look at Jess going old school. The medicine ball, it's never gone out, right? You're seeing no, but this is like my gym class. Yeah. Just the memories of gym class. These are the simple things you can use.
Absolutely, yeah. So we can use this for conditioning. We can use this for power and strength training. So I'm going to show you some variations right now that actually take that athleticism or work on those deep abs a little bit. So this is, if you don't have a friend or a wall to throw it against, this is a fake med ball toss.
Right.
So you're going to throw it aggressively one way, bring it back quick, and don't let it wobble you. Right?
And this is really working the core, right? He's got to use everything in that core area.
I think he's actually starting to sweat right here. Yes, there we go. You see,
Jess is in good shape. I don't even see a drop on him.
There. So this is, I call this the 1.5 or the fake med ball slam. this is something, again, you could do if you don't want to make too much noise or you don't have somewhere to slam it, is you can throw it down, absorb, because your ability to absorb is your ability to reduce the risk of injury.
Right.
And people with current pains and all that stuff, this is a great variation to start off with. Because I know when I started to transition, like enough of the spare tire syndrome, I wanted something that was fun, a little bit intense, but not crazy. And this is one of those variations that they definitely can use to kickstart that process.
And Rich, it's obviously great to get a team like you guys to help motivate people as well. And I can't tell you enough. I told you I started working with a trainer. That is exactly what I needed. And you don't necessarily have to. It doesn't have to be every single week to go and see your trainer. Just get you started. Help motivate you guys.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks so much for being here.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Good to see you, man. Hey, make sure you follow Rich Thaw on social media. He's got some great advice and tips on there. Instagram is the best place to go. And we'll be back with more BT right after this.